Hello and welcome back to Creative Instruct. I'm Vlad, and in today's video, we're gonna create this set of icons. We're gonna see different techniques working with icons, like starting from a basic shape, to create this bookmark, then working from a path, and by combining shapes. Now, why this kind of exercise? Because I'm well aware that there are free icon sets and also paid icon libraries out there, so half of the times your client's not going to be happy with the icons, or the users might not fully grasp meaning behind an icon. And then again, some icon sets, even the paid one, will miss on some important icons which you need. It comes down to working with vectors, a thing which I already covered on this channel. Feel free to check the link in the description if you need a refresher. And that being said, let's start by creating a new frame. And I'm going to start with the basic frame of 800 by 600. And now I'm gonna add my colors. So I do have a basic color palette over here just to make things go a bit smoother. Let's give it a name to the frame that we just created. And I'm also gonna add a layout grid. Hit the plus button and set it to 4 pixels. And also the color, I'm gonna go with the light blue, just to make it a bit easier for my eyes. And now let's create the frame for the icon. Normally icons follow this 4 scale grid, and you're gonna see icons at 16 by 16, 24 by 24, or 32 by 32, and so on. I would say 64 by 64 will be a comfortable size to start working with. I want to add a stroke, and I'm going to make it red, position it outside, and I'm going to remove the fill. Now, this is going to be the edge. I shouldn't go beyond this box. And let's add a safe area. Again, pick the rectangle tool and create an 8 by 64 rectangle, duplicate this one, and put it here on the right side of your initial rectangle. Select both of them and Control C, Control V. Let's rotate it, hold down Shift and rotate it. And now select all of them and create a union. Okay. Now let's add a fill, and I'm gonna go with light red. Looks more like a pink. And I'm gonna call this one safe area. Okay, so this actually helps me frame my icons better. Let's start with a rectangle. We said that we're gonna create a bookmark. Well, 24 by 32, it's a good size. Create a basic rectangle. Now remove the fill and add a stroke. 2 pixels positioned. Let's go with the position inside, and the stroke should be black. Now I'm gonna zoom in for you to better see what I'm doing here. Double click, and with the pen tool, I'm gonna add an extra point down here at the bottom, and I'm gonna select my point by clicking again, and using the up arrow, I'm gonna press it 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have the basic shape. Okay, I like to add some rounded corners, so I'm accessing it again. I'm selecting those points on the left, holding down Shift. I'm making a selection on the points on the right, and from up here, I'm gonna set it to corner radius of 2. Just like that, it has friendlier look. Well, this point in the middle, I'm gonna leave it straight. Let's continue by selecting everything, duplicating. So Alt Shift and dragging it to the right. Add a basic fill. Let's add dark fill, and now we already have the version. Yeah, it's another variant. So it's the outline style and the fill style. Let's continue by duplicating the original initial icon. I would say this one needs to have a gradient. Okay, not exactly my cup of tea, but I've seen them online. So I'm gonna select the stroke, zoom out a bit, and click on the color, stroke, and from up here change it to linear. That means a linear gradient. It has 2 stop points. First one, yeah, the one on the left is the one at the top. Select that one, choose the color picker and sample first color, and then second one. I'm going to select it again. I'm going to choose the color picker and sample the second color. Just like that, I already have another version. Again, you can use it in some landing pages. It really depends on the style of the website you're creating. And let's continue by creating a duotone. I'm going to duplicate the second version, the one with a fill. And duotone supports two kind of colors and only two. Sometimes you can have the stroke, for example. I'm going to create a stroke color in the middle and the fill, the color which I have as primary color. So just by adding a different stroke in terms of color from the fill, you have a duotone. There will be times when maybe the icon doesn't have a stroke and there are two colors making the fill, depicting the shadows and the highlights. That's also a style. Let's continue by creating the flat colored icon. And if you use Gmail or some other Google services, you know, those icons that have 3, 4, or 5 colors. So I do recommend restraining yourself from using too many colors. Okay, I'm gonna remove the stroke and just stick with the fill. Let's give it a base color and duplicate this one. Yeah, Control C, Control V. And now let's access it by double clicking. I'm gonna select the point in the middle and hit the P on my keyboard to change to the pen tool, and I'm gonna connect it with the point on the top left. I'm gonna click. I'm gonna press V to select the move tool, or up here you can choose the move tool. And I'm gonna select those points on the right and hit backspace. I don't need those. Okay, nothing happened. Well, I do have a new shape, but I need to add a fill to it. So let's add a fill, and the fill is gonna be the color I have as a second color. So just like that, I'm gonna select this point at the top and make the corner radius back to 0. Okay, let's click on it and slightly bring it down. Hold down Shift, and not to go in all the direction. So hold down Shift, slightly bring it in, and duplicate this one. Control C, Control V, flip horizontal, and move it on the right. Now, again, double clicking it, I'm gonna take that point and drag it more, bring it inside. And this one, well, I want to have that dark purple, just like that. I have the flat icon version. Okay, that's really nice, easy. Okay, let's continue with the icons that are made up of the combined shapes, which was that cloud. Okay, well, here I just need a couple of circles. I'm gonna take the ellipse, 16 by 16, then duplicate this one, make it 24 by 24, and I would try to have them aligned such a way that the baseline matches. You see that smart guideline appear down there. Third one should be 12 by 12. Let's select all of them, yeah, and bring them slightly up. We're gonna center it at the end, and we would like to have a flat baseline. So I'm gonna select the rectangle and come down here and create a rectangle just like that. Okay, good. Now that I have all of this, let's create a union. So I'm gonna select all of them, go up here and choose union. And I just need to add a stroke, position it inside 2 pixels, and remove the fill. Make sure that it's centered, so select your icon and then select the safe area up here, line it center on the vertical and on the horizontal axis. Duplicating it again, I try to make sure that it's centered, and I'm gonna add fill, again black, just like that. Okay, let's continue by creating the gradient version. And for the gradient version, now that we have a previous one, we can just click on it, right click, copy, paste as, and choose copy property. Okay, and it has a shortcut if you want to remember, Control Alt C. Then move on the new icon, right click, paste, property. Hey, that was easy. Well, guys, same thing for the duotone. Gonna go slightly faster. You've seen the operation. Then, in order to create the flat icon, again, I'm gonna start from the one with the fill. And there's a catch over here, okay? I'm gonna remove the stroke. And now if I would try to access it to see that points, it's gonna look slightly different because it's just the union. Yeah, I still have those shapes here. What I need to do is flatten this union. So I'm gonna do a right click, choose flatten, and now when I access it, I have the points, okay? So duplicate it, Control C, Control V, or just Control D, and double click, select the point on the right. I'm just going to select this one and press the P on the keyboard, come down here. When I see the plus, I will click once, and now let's choose Move tool, press V on your keyboard, select those extra anchor points that we don't need, and hit backspace. Let's give this one a fill, and I do have a fill already. Yeah, I can reuse those colors, and let's try to do that again for the other side. So Control C, Control V. Okay, double click to access it. Take the pen tool, come down here, and now choose the move tool by hitting V, select all the other anchor points and hit backspace. Let's give this one again a fill, and it should be that dark purple, and we have it. Okay, well, you can take it one step further and try to access those newly created shapes and set some new anchor points and work with those anchor points, maybe choosing the bend tool and trying to play a bit with those shapes. Again, if you're looking for something unique, I do recommend that you experiment. You don't give up only after the first try. Okay, that looks interesting, I do have to say. Let's continue with the icon, which is created from shapes. And that's the heart icon. By the way, if you like the video, do give a thumbs up. Yeah, I would really appreciate that. And subscribe. I'm gonna publish more also on icons and also on other topics on UX UI. I selected the pen tool. I'm coming down here and I'm gonna create a stroke. I do want to be in the center of the rectangle. I'm just gonna use a couple of guidelines. A bit of extra help, so maybe 3 squares from the top. I'm just gonna set my first anchor point. Gonna update this stroke. For now, let's go with only 1 pixel, okay? We can change it at the end. I'm gonna move up here like 3 squares on the diagonal. Click and drag, and I'm holding down Shift, and I'm gonna come slightly down a bit more from the initial point. Okay, slightly down here. Again, click and drag. We want to see those handlers. Yeah, they will come into play when we need to adjust the points. Going down here, only click once and we can continue. Okay, we can try to mirror what we have there. There's another technique of just creating a half and then unifying there, flattening the two vectors. But I'm gonna try to make it just like that. And I'm gonna set my other point here and come back to the origin point. Okay, now indeed it's not perfect, but we can access by double clicking and playing around with those points, yeah, in how we stretch them. Do try to be consistent. So this handle goes like 2 squares on the left. This right one should go 2 squares on the right. Same thing over here. Then this one, do make sure that you mirror the angle and length. Yeah, check your properties in case you don't have the same result as I do. Okay, and actually this one could go only 2 squares on the left and 2 squares down here. Same for the other one. Let's grab the points, and I do want to mirror the angle and the length. Okay, let's try now. And this should be much better. Let's select those anchor points here. And by pressing the down arrow 1, 2, 3, 4, I should have softer shape, yeah, slightly more round. Something is weird with this one in the middle, so I need to adjust those handlers. Maybe this one should go that, and this one in the opposite direction. Okay, it takes practice. It's not that difficult. Let's update the stroke 2 pixels and position it inside. Do make sure that you don't have this kind of decimal values. That's usually not a good sign. Yeah, we want to go, let's try a 40 by 38. And now we can just come back and center it to the safe area. Okay, let's continue. I'm just gonna duplicate this one and I'm gonna add a fill. Easy. Okay, because I have a closed path, so it supports the fill. I'm gonna add gradient. Okay, copy properties and paste the properties, and also duotone. Explained you about the duotone. So again, copy properties and let's paste the properties. And finally, we have this one, which again is gonna be made up of other shapes, yeah, that stack on top each other. So I'm gonna remove the stroke and I'm gonna give it the base color. After that, I'm gonna duplicate this one, Control C, Control V, double click to access it, and from this point up here, yeah, with the pen tool, add another point somewhere here, confirm, double click to remove those extra points, and we need to give the correct fill. Let's go with this one. And again, the same thing, Control C, Control V, double clicking, just trying to mirror it. Do use your guidelines if you feel that you want to be precise. Okay, I'm gonna remove that. And now to change also the fill. And we got it. Yeah, it wasn't that difficult. One thing I need to point out to you, it's really important when you scale the icons. Okay, for example, if I would duplicate this one and try to scale it, yeah, to make it smaller or larger, you will start to see that the shapes don't properly align. So that's not something that we want. We need to pay attention to these kind of things. I'm going to select all of them, right click and say flatten, and then right click again, and really important, outline the stroke. And now by outlining the stroke, whatever acted as a path, now it's going to be a shape. So however I would scale it, it will stay safe. Okay, that's all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Do give a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode.